Well, welcome to the Beyond Cinema Studio, presented by Celebs.com, up here at TIFF. Sudz Sutherland, CC Pounder, Tatyana Ali. Firstly, congratulations on being back, Sudz. I mean, 2003, you had your first feature award up at TIFF. Of course, you've been involved since then, but this is really your first kind of feature back. So how does that feel for you? Is it like a homecoming of sorts?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like a homecoming. I mean, I used to volunteer here. Used to be one of the volunteers opening doors for celebs and helping people out. And you know, back in the day, people were like, you know, elderly women would say, "Are you one of those young hot black filmmakers?" And I was like, "Well, one day I will." And now I am. Yes, I am now.
Have you had anyone ask you that question?
No. like, excuse me, is Brad Pitt here? Where is that? That's really the kind of thing. Is get out of my way. That's Joseph Gordon-Levitt over there.
Now that you're all famous, you don't open doors for old women anymore. Is that what you're saying?
No, I always open doors for old women.
So this film, obviously, you know, taking three people out of their element and putting them in somewhere that's completely foreign to them, despite the fact that the director.
Sorry.
Despite the fact that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, Jennifer, it's time to we're go time. Okay, I'll call you back. It was good.
So Sudz, was that the other half of the creative equation?
It was.
Did she want to weigh in on the conversation?
No, she doesn't like doing these interviews. I'm telling you, it's just, I try to get her here, and she doesn't like doing the interview. She likes writing, and I thought she wrote a fantastic script. I helped out a bit, but she wrote a fantastic script, and she you know, produced this whole thing and made this whole thing happen. So it's she's like all testament due to Jennifer Holmes.
Is it easier to work with your wife on that sort of thing, or is it something that means you can't get away from work even when you're at home?
Are you crazy, Elliot? No, it's hard working with your spouse, and she will attest. But it's also great because I think we complement each other. And all kidding aside, I think we complement each other. We both have strengths, and we build upon those strengths. And where we're weak, we build upon that. We try to complete each other because I think that we're a good team, bringing a male and female energy to anything that we do.
And here you're focusing on, you know, quite a few strong women characters as well, or lost women as well. But CC, I mean, what was your first meeting like with Sudz? What made you want to do this with him? Here it was kind of a convenient accident that kind of had you involved in the project in the first place.
I think convenient accident is a really good phrase for this, because I mean, I'm not sure how they came to me in terms of why call, but once we got together in the room, I knew I wanted to do it because it had the three criteria that I wanted. It was an independent film in a region that I wanted to assist. It had the writing that I could actually say, okay, I'll go ahead and do it. And the bottom line is, you've got to have a story, and it's got that.
And so you know, tell me about Dulce. Like what was it about her that made this kind of interesting?
You know what's really ironic about Dulce is that I didn't connect to the character specifically, but I connected to the overall story. And my contribution, originally I thought, okay, it's because I've got a name and therefore I'm in the story. But once I got to read the story, there's so many things that I could relate to or remember within my own immigrant life, that I had things in my pocket that were useful right away. I remember my mother leaving. I remember being shipped off to a boarding school. I remember leaving the country in a hurry, very quickly, not in the dead of night, but in an afternoon, of going to an unexpected place and then finding myself from 90 degrees to October in the United States, looking at row houses that all looked exactly the same. And I have had extraordinary memories that I could put to use in this film.
That was from Guyana.
Right.
So you mentioned a second ago that it was an area you wanted to help. What did you specifically mean by that?
The Caribbean is not a place for a great deal of films that people can see. They make a small amount of films, but I think it's got a history of great oral storytelling, fantastic stories that could be shared with the rest of the world, and it's an unplowed field. And this is one of the great stories to come out of there. I assisted in a film in the Bahamas, one in Guadeloupe, so I am going through the countries, providing that they've got good story. And that too. No, I mean, I've spent a great deal of my life at fantastic locations like the swamps of Valdosta. So, on the main road in Trinidad, I think I'll do okay, yeah.
Tatyana, you took, like Cece just called it an unplowed field, but like Trinidad, Jamaica, was it more difficult to shoot there, given that perhaps they don't have as much production as other places?
I thought it was amazing. Actually, shooting in Trinidad was one of the pieces when I look back at this experience that I just loved. My father is from Trinidad. He came to the United States when he was 18, 19. And so in many ways for me it was like going home and getting to experience his homeland for myself, having my own experiences about it. But I love school and I love education, and there were so many, like CCH said, the film is new there. This was like a really big project to come to the island. And so beneath every key and in every department, there were Trinidadians, incredibly talented people learning the trade of filmmaking. And that was just the most beautiful thing to watch. It really was.
When you worked with Rodrigo Garcia, obviously that film, Mother and Child, it's all in the title. Mm. You know, here you've got a situation that could be defined the same way, or mother without child, rather, or mother without children. So for you, like, do you have kids?
I don't have kids, and that was the big challenge for me, even approaching the script and approaching the story. At first I said, well, what does Marva do? Okay, she's a nursing student. What does she do? What does she do? What does she do? And then it finally hit me like a ton of bricks. She's a mother. That is the most important part of her life. And so I had a lot of fun building that in myself as much as I could. And I took from I'm blessed to have a really wonderful mother and grandmother, so I took a lot from them. But yeah, what it's like I feel like for Marva, her children are like limbs, and it's like she's without parts of her body, and so that's something that I've taken away from the film. I felt a little bit of what it's like to be a mom. I wouldn't say completely, but
yeah, I think that when people watch movies, they try and read stuff into it all the time, and like Marva is like so close to being a mother, but she's like, I mean, literally the word is so close to being mother, but it's slightly incomplete. You know, so it's that sort of aspect of it. Is the naming of these characters, is that something you take a lot of time with?
Yeah, we do. We take it's a very there's a methodology to it, because each of the names have to be different and start with different consonants. And then from there, we go and we, really try to figure out, what does this one mean? And how common does this appear in whatever region it is? So we actually do go through a long, because it was like, no, that's not right. No, that's not right. Because at one point it was Marilyn, Monica. There's a bunch of different things that we're going through, and that's. But when we name characters, it's huge, because it's like sometimes a character, it just doesn't fit. It's just not right. It doesn't. There's a rhythm. It doesn't have the meaning. So that it's intensive. But again, this writing process was it's been a 6-year process, because I think the final draft is the film.
And so what was it about Tatyana that you saw that you knew you wanted her to play this part too?
I think it is like, there's a very kind of an innocent quality to Tatyana, even though she's a fully grown woman and all that. But it's like there's still an innocence there, and also just because of being caught up in whatever crime she was caught up in, is a crime of naivete, and that was the one thing. Being a mule is there's a naivete to that decision. Like, oh, okay, I can do this. I can mule these. I can just take the suitcase up and it'll be fine. Because so many young women are caught up into that, and so we wanted to sort of look at that crime, because again, it's like you're just taking up a suitcase, and it's like it should be an easy peasy thing, but so many people get caught up in that, and so we wanted to look at that as what goes into it. And I think that one of her strongest scenes is this monologue that she delivers, and she just describes how it all happened. I thought that it's one of the best scenes in the film, as she goes and breaks down and describes the whole crime, and the whole audience has been waiting for this because they don't know why she's in Jamaica, they don't know why she's been deported. But I think that is part of the quality. I mean, there's a girl next door quality to it that she has, and an innocence, and then but that also like that like I know her not just because of her obvious fame, but just because like there's a feeling that you could say, and I think it's called cousining. Like when you go and like immediately when you go to your cousin's house, it's like all the photographs, they catch up with you. Oh, this is when you were 6, and this is when you're this, and you see these photographs, you've never seen them before in your life. But all of a sudden, like there's a feeling there. It's like a cord between you, and I call it cousining, and it's like that kind of feeling. That's the reason why she got the part.
I saw it happen to Cece when she walked in, because wherever she goes, people refer to her from different projects that she's done. So there's a familiarity, but it's from different periods in her life.
Yeah.
Why didn't you shoot the whole film in Jamaica?
It was financially a challenge. I mean, this is a modestly budgeted production, and to get this film to Jamaica, we needed some kind of assistance. We needed to complete the budget. There was a hole in the budget, so we went through various scenarios, and we needed some movement. Like, I mean, I don't want to like do all inside baseball, but we just needed to close that gap. And so Trinidad had a tax incentive, and that enabled us to close the gap.
Very cool. Well, congratulations on getting it done and for being here, and thanks for spending a few minutes with us.
Thank you very much, Elliot.
Thank you.
Cheers.